Hey, want a cookie? Oh, I know you just ate, so you're craving something a little sweet. Besides, one cookie isn't gonna kill you. How about half? Just a bite? Bite it. Bite it. Bite it.
Food noise isn't fair, but Mochi Health is. Your affordable GLP-1 source that puts you on a path to successful weight loss by quieting food noise.
Bite it.
Shh. Learn more at joinmochi.com. Mochi members have access to licensed physicians and nutritionists. Results may vary.
This episode of Voices for Justice is sponsored by Shopify. Starting a business is filled with a lot of what-ifs. What if I fail? What if nobody listens to the podcast? What if nobody cares? It can definitely be hard to get over that doubt and uncertainty, but making that leap was one of the best things I've ever done, and it's great to know that I'm not alone with a business partner like Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Heinz and Mattel to brands just getting started. And I'm telling you, their tools really do feel like you have a business partner. They have hundreds of ready-to-use templates to help build a beautiful online store that matches your brand. You can also get the word out like you have an entire marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And if you get stuck, Shopify is always there to help with their award-winning 24/7 customer service. It's time to turn those what-ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/justice. Go to shopify.com/justice. That's shopify.com/justice. Voices for Justice is a podcast that uses adult language and discusses sensitive and potentially triggering topics, including violence, abuse, and murder. This podcast may not be appropriate for younger audiences. All parties are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Some names have been changed or omitted per their request or for safety purposes. Listener discretion is advised. My name is Sarah Turney, and this is Voices for Justice. Today, I'm discussing the case of 39-year-old Ericka Hogg. This case, Ericka herself, is really shrouded in mystery. When she went missing, she was living an alternative lifestyle with a group many have likened to a cult. And the last person to see her has given conflicting stories about the day she went missing. This is the case of Ericka Hogg. Ericka Renee Hogg was born on June 7, 1979. She has several siblings, but was especially close to her sister Rachel before her disappearance. And Rachel was kind enough to speak with me for this episode.
We did grow up together. We didn't always like each other. We're siblings. We fought a lot, but she was kind of like a mother for me, even though we were so close in age. And she taught me how to read. She read me bedtime stories. She always made sure that my teeth were brushed, the little things. But, we would have our arguments. It's just kid stuff. We got older, we grew closer. She was always there for me.
Rachel told me that Ericka was just extremely kind. Someone who was always willing to help someone down to giving away their last dollar. Now, eventually Ericka did get married and have 2 children. That marriage would eventually end, however, and her 2 children went to go live with their father. Of course, this was an extremely difficult time in her life, and she just didn't feel like a lot of her family was providing her the support that she needed. So Ericka set out to find a different kind of family, which she found in the Rainbow Family of Living Light. This is a counterculture group with no leaders or organization. The Rainbow Family basically consists of individuals who describe themselves as hippies, activists, and peace promoters. And it seems like Ericka really found her people with this group. And she often traveled to different states and worked with them. I asked Rachel what she thought of the Rainbow Family.
I don't know a whole lot about that part of her life. I just know that she was always a caretaker and that the people I've met from that group, I don't want to call them a cult, but that's kind of what they are. they always saw her as like the mom. She took care of the kids. If a new kid came into the group or run away, say, she would make sure they had something to eat, somewhere safe to sleep, and always encourage them to go home. She was a protector of anything that was vulnerable.
According to reporting by Grace Weiler for Vice, the Rainbow family began in the late 1960s as really a hippie anti-war movement. In a 1993 Rolling Stone article, they described themselves as, quote, the largest, best coordinated, non-political, non-denominational, non-organization of like-minded individuals on the planet, end quote. Now, in my research, I did find that this group has seen some less than positive behavior from their members, including violence, theft, and a lot of drug use. I also encountered a few Reddit posts saying that members of this group vanish without ever returning. But the evidence to back that up was lacking. So there's a lot of positive out there about this group and a lot of negative. I'll let you make up your own mind. But either way, Ericka's just trying to find her way. Trying to find community and traveling around with this Rainbow family for a while. Which members exactly is a little unclear. Then around 2016, Ericka starts dating a man named Larry Anthony Hopkins II. He went by Anthony or Hannibal. For anybody out there who may not know, or for my younger listeners out there, this is a reference to the 2001 movie Hannibal, which also starred Anthony Hopkins. But when Ericka and Anthony weren't traveling around, they would usually stay with Rachel in Idaho. Rachel later told the podcast A Light for Ericka that initially the couple appeared happy, but they did fight. And Anthony had a history of using meth, which Rachel did not approve of, and was of course concerned that her sister may use also. By the spring of 2018, Ericka and Anthony were working on a legal weed farm and living in a camper on a remote property in the 7800 block of Deer Creek Road in Selma, Oregon. Now, Selma's actually an unincorporated community in Josephine County with just less than 1,000 residents, so super small. It's close to the border of California and over 4 hours away from Portland. And it wasn't just Ericka and Anthony living there. There were other people living on the property, including one neighbor named Ryan. I can't tell you exactly what amenities this camper did or did not have, but we do know that there appeared to be really no way to shower or bathe. So Ryan would let both Ericka and Anthony bathe in his home. They lived what most people would consider a pretty alternative lifestyle. Ericka would often walk around the property nude and just didn't care about many modern conveniences or technology. I've seen her get a lot of flack for this lifestyle, but I would argue this is a lifestyle a lot of people aspire to live. So I really encourage you to just keep your mind open for a minute during this episode. Now, Rachel has been extremely open about this. Ericka was apparently not taking her medication to treat her schizophrenia. But Ericka was going to her doctor's appointments and keeping in touch with Rachel, so she says that she wasn't overly concerned. Ericka also never missed celebrating birthdays, Mother's Day, or Christmas with her kids. They meant the world to her, and maintaining this routine was essential to ensure she could spend time with them. In early May, Ericka had plans to go to Oklahoma with Rachel to attend a family event, but just before the trip, Ericka called Rachel to say that she couldn't make it. She said that she'd call Rachel back on Mother's Day, which was the 13th that year. But after Rachel got back from the event, Mother's Day had passed and she hadn't heard from Ericka. This wasn't entirely surprising because Ericka sometimes just didn't follow through on her plans to call. So Rachel takes a second, decides to wait a day or two before really worrying. But as time passed, Rachel didn't hear from Ericka, which was unusual. Ericka may not have always been punctual, but she always stayed in touch within a reasonable time frame. Then, on May 18th, Anthony called Rachel with news that made her stomach drop. Ericka was missing.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why customers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This episode of Voices for Justice is sponsored by Chewy. If you have pets, you probably know about Chewy, and you also know that when they say that they have everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy, they're not messing around. To keep them happy, Chewy has over 100,000 products from all the brands my pets love at prices I love. To keep them healthy, Chewy offers pet prescriptions, pet insurance, telehealth vet visits, and they're even rolling out vet clinics across the country. I've been shopping with them for a very long time. And in addition to the auto ship feature that gets the dog's food to them every single month, I also love to experiment with different treats. But I'm a bit picky. For me, it has to be high quality with simple ingredients. I recently picked up treats from Shepherd Boy Farms that are 100% just chicken breast. Popcorn and Heber are already obsessed. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. And right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewpanions.chewy.com/Sarah E. Turney. That's chewpanions.chewy.com/Sarah E. Turney to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. chewpanions.chewy.com/Sarah E. Turney. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details. This episode of Voices for Justice is brought to you by Quince. I've been trying to be more intentional about what I wear each day. I'm leaning into pieces that feel effortless, comfortable, and still put together, and Quince has been my go-to. The fabrics feel elevated, the fits are flattering, and everything just works without overthinking it. They use premium materials like 100% European linen, organic cotton, and ultra-soft denim. And the best part? Everything is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for quality and craftsmanship, not brand markup. I recently just ordered their tiered linen dress, of course in black. I wanted to pair it with one of my favorite pairs of brown wedges. The problem was, I didn't have a brown purse. So I got that from Quince too. It's one of my favorite outfits. It's easy, effortless, and feels amazing, especially as we're getting a little bit warmer here in Phoenix. Refresh your everyday with luxury you'll actually use. Head to quince.com/justice for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/justice for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/justice. Anthony explains to Rachel that before Ericka went missing, he thinks that she was going through a mental health crisis. He says that she appeared to be hallucinating and talking to people who were not there. He says he thought this happened because Ericka was extremely upset that she wasn't able to celebrate Mother's Day with her kids. He says that he also threatened to contact Rachel or her parents if she didn't calm down, which he apparently did not do. But here's what he said happened. Ericka had a doctor's appointment scheduled for the next day, so she went to their neighbor Ryan's house to take a bath as she normally did. When she got back to their camper, he says Ericka told him that she was still upset and just needed some space. From here, he says he saw Ericka go into the woods and she was gone. Now, we do have some conflicting reports about what Ericka was wearing or whether she had any clothes on at all. Some reports say that she was either partially clothed or completely naked, while others say that she was wearing a green vest and purple moccasins. It's important to note that Anthony and Ericka shared a cell phone, and she didn't take it with her, but she was believed to have taken a hat, lighter, and a homemade bong made from a Gatorade bottle. It seemed that she planned to get away in the woods for a bit to smoke some weed. Anthony told Rachel that he went for a walk, and when he came back, Ericka still wasn't home, so he just went to sleep. And when he woke up the next morning, Ericka was still missing. That's when he made the phone call. But Rachel just felt like something was seriously wrong this time, so she immediately left her job, packed her things, and drove to Oregon to search for her sister. She just had this strong gut feeling that she might not ever see Ericka again.
If she got into some kind of trouble or she just didn't want to be where she was, she would call me and I would go get her. But this time was different. I could just feel it in my gut.
Anthony and Rachel reached out to the Josephine County Sheriff's Office, who then opened a missing persons case for Ericka. But unfortunately, Rachel told me that they didn't take Ericka's case seriously at all. And I'm not exaggerating. They didn't even send a search team until a year after she went missing.
They act as though the way she lived, she was a transient. She dabbled in drugs. I'm not, I'm not naive to the fact that she used drugs, but they just treated her like one less person to worry about because of the way she lived.
What we do know is that Anthony told the police the same details he shared with Rachel, and their neighbor Ryan, who Ericka had visited to take that bath, confirmed that she did come to his home that day to bathe, but he says he hadn't seen her since then. Ryan also mentioned that one of his guns disappeared around the same time that Ericka went missing. Now, the podcast A Light for Ericka has discussed this possibility that Ericka may have taken the gun with the intention of harming herself. But Rachel has a hard time believing that Ericka did that because she had a deep fear of guns. She says that she was so afraid of guns that she once jumped out of the car on a freeway after she found out Rachel had a gun with her. Now, I do think it's also worth noting that the gun apparently had a tactical flashlight attachment, which may have been helpful for her to see in the dark. But we don't really have a lot of information about this gun. We don't know if it's related to Ericka's case at all or if it was ever recovered. But we do know that it had an effect on the investigation. They basically said that because Ericka may have this gun and because the woods were so dense, they just weren't going to search. So Rachel did it herself. She went door to door asking if anyone had seen Ericka, but no one had. Eventually, she did find one person who says that they saw Ericka at a local supermarket. But when Rachel went to get the surveillance footage from that market, they refused to give it to her, stating that the police had to request it. Of course, Rachel goes right to law enforcement and asks for that, but she says the sheriff's department didn't follow up. So, as the case stands, law enforcement isn't really doing much of anything at this point. And as we so often see, it fell on her family and loved ones to look for Ericka. And as if that wasn't bad enough, Rachel says that she got some pushback from law enforcement on these efforts.
I had over 100 people willing to come help me search when I went there. I had people willing to take their own time and money and do aerial searches. The county shut it down. They told us we could not do aerial searches. It was a no-fly zone or whatever. It seemed like every effort we were trying to make, they would shut it down.
I asked Rachel why she thought this happened.
I don't know. It's a dangerous country. There's a lot of marijuana farms out there. People have their own rules, their own laws. But talking with the neighboring properties, nobody had an issue with what we were doing. They knew what we were doing. They knew why we were there. So for law enforcement to come in and say, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that, was just mind-boggling to me. They told me not to search at all. That didn't stop me. But the people that were doing the aerial searches, they were grounded. There was nothing we could do about it. I searched all over that mountain on foot. Me and a group of friends.
They did ground searches, went on hikes, and combed the riverbanks. They contacted hospitals, jails, coroners, psychiatric facilities, shelters, and more. Of course, they also spread the word on social media and put up flyers anywhere they could. But there was just no trace of Ericka anywhere. Eventually, they called in more help. On May 20th, 3 days after Ericka went missing, her family hired a private canine handler to search for her. And the dogs actually picked up on 2 different trails. One trail led over 4 hours away to Bend, Oregon, where Ericka's children lived. The other led to the back of the property they were living on and into the woods about a mile or a mile and a half away. And it stopped at a group of mailboxes near the road. Which, of course, suggests that she may have gotten a ride from there. Oddly enough, none of these trails led back to Ryan's house where Ericka had taken a bath earlier. Now, I do want to note here that Gwen Behringer, the host of A Light for Ericka, later told the IV News that there have been debates about the handler's reputation and methods. Basically, they've been accused of just telling family members what they want to hear versus what the dogs actually found. so these scent trail findings should absolutely be taken with a grain of salt. Then, finally, on May 24th, the Josephine County Sheriff's Office asked the public to help find Ericka. This really appears to be the first time that authorities notify the public about Ericka's disappearance. And according to police reports, they received 3 responses. One was from a woman in Selma who says that she saw Ericka walking on Highway 199. This is about 11 miles or more than a 4-hour walk from where she went missing from. But this sighting and all the others have never been confirmed to be Ericka. As the time crept by, Ericka missed renewing her benefits, doctor's appointments, and her son's birthday. She also stopped accessing her bank accounts and social media. Meanwhile, Anthony was still on that property, living and working where he and Ericka used to stay. And before long, it came out that he texted someone about the day that Ericka went missing. In that message, he talks about how he thought Ericka was going through a mental health crisis. But he adds new, different details. He says that on the 17th, he went to work, leaving Ericka at home. He checked on her a few times throughout the day. At one point, she told him that she was going to lie down and go to sleep. He says the last time he checked on her, she was in bed crying. He went back to work, and when he came back a few hours later, Ericka was gone. This is obviously pretty different from what Anthony had previously told Ericka's family and the police. Now, not much seemed to happen with this, or if it did, we are not being told that. By the fall of 2018, Ericka's case was transferred to the Oregon State Police. They tell local news that they're still investigating Ericka's disappearance as a missing persons case, but they say that the tips just weren't coming in anymore, and the case had eventually gone stale. They added, quote, "We've reviewed the report and any interviews, and right now, nothing stands out that it was foul play," end quote. But one of Ericka's friends told Kobe 5 News that they weren't so sure that foul play wasn't involved. This is unfortunately vague, which is why I said that this case is shrouded in so much mystery. But essentially, this friend comes forward and says that Ericka had a relationship with someone in the past that was pretty volatile. This person is never named, but the friend said, quote, "I feel like somebody did something to Ericka that was not good, that was bad, and I feel like this person is still walking around," end quote. Rachel says that she does not want to point fingers. She just wants closure. Towards the end of 2018, a local woman from Selma named Gwen Behringer came across a missing poster for Ericka. She felt a connection to her and just wanted to help. Gwen has since become a dedicated advocate for Ericka's family. That's how I found Ericka's case. It was through Gwen. She also does interviews right alongside Rachel and has conducted a huge amount of work in this case and launched that podcast I've been talking about, A Light for Ericka. It has been a great resource for this episode, and I absolutely recommend that you go listen to that. Now, over these years, Anthony was arrested. He was being held on charges of reckless driving, reckless endangerment, and possession of meth. But he was released in early April 2019. Now, I can't argue that these charges are relevant, but I mention them because not long after, on April 20th, there's a major discovery found on the property. Anthony finds Ericka's hat, the homemade bong, and a lighter at the edge of the property. It was less than 100 yards from where he said that he last saw Ericka. And it does seem like these things were out there for quite a while because they were covered in moss. But the big question was, how were these not found during the searches?
That's why search and rescue went out a year later, because her boyfriend had claimed that he found some clothing items of hers and a homemade bong that she had made. It was back behind the property, which, was odd to me because I searched everywhere out there and I didn't come across anything. So, but I never got to see it personally. When he found it, he called me and I told him not to touch it, to contact law enforcement. Of course, he didn't. He picked it up. He took it back to his camper. I never got to see the items, but I was told that it looked like they had been there for a long time. Like there was plant growth on them. And that's when search and rescue finally agreed to come out. I went back for that. I had some other family and friends come with me on that trip, but then they wouldn't allow us to help them search. But they did say that we could do our own search after they left, just not to disturb anything they might have found.
You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, a reminder that whatever you're going through, you don't have to go through alone. I think we all know that life is a journey. Some days feel good and others feel extremely overwhelming. Whatever's keeping you up at night, it's easy to feel like you have to figure it out all on your own. But the truth is, no one has all the answers, and no one should have to go on this journey alone. Having someone with you to listen, to understand, and support you can make all the difference. That's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the U.S., and they do the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. All you do is fill out a short questionnaire to help identify your needs and preferences. And if you aren't happy with your match, you can switch to a different therapist at any time. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, and it works. They have an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session. You don't have to be on this journey alone. Find support and have someone with you in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/justice. That's betterhelp.com/justice.
What they did to your family, you're lucky to make it out alive.
Streaming on Peacock.
These men are going to come after me. Taking them out is my only chance.
Put a bullet in her head.
From the co-creator of Ozark.
Looks like a family was running drugs.
Execution-style killing, it's rare for the Keys. And it leads on who they might have been running for.
The cartel killed my family. I'm gonna kill them. All of them.
MIA. Streaming now. Only on Peacock.
On May 17th, search and rescue dogs were brought to the area, and they alerted to where the items were found. But nothing really came of this. They didn't find anything else or any trace of Ericka. And eventually those searches were suspended. Since all of this happened, Anthony has moved to other states, and as far as the family can tell, he no longer lives in Oregon. I warned you guys that this one was shrouded in mystery, and unfortunately, that's really all we know about the investigation into Ericka's disappearance. Rachel and Gwen are still trying to raise awareness about Ericka's case. Which brings me right to our call to action directly from Rachel.
Yeah, if you know something, talk. I just don't spread her story around. Somebody somewhere knows something. I get little tidbits from different people here and there, and I have a million stories, and I don't know which is true, if any of it's true, and that in itself is not helpful. But if you have real information, if you knew my sister, if you knew Anthony or Tony or Hannibal or whatever you know him by, please speak out. We just want to bring her home. We don't want revenge. We don't need vengeance. We just want her back. Her kids are growing up without her, and I know she's dead, but they deserve answers. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I've had many people in that community tell me to focus on the living instead of the dead, and that's heart-shattering. How can they not understand the pain understand that there's somebody in their community that did this to her. And by remaining silent, you're allowing it to happen to someone else. You're allowing the pain to continue. This isn't just for me, my sister, her kids even. It's for everyone. A crime was committed. And staying silent just, well, you might as well have done it yourself.
I would, of course, love if you took a moment to share Ericka's story. She truly has gotten very little media coverage. And if you'd like to support this fight, you can go to Facebook and follow the page Missing Person Ericka Hogg. And once again, I want to highly recommend checking out the podcast dedicated to her case, A Light for Ericka. As a reminder, Ericka Hogg was last seen on May 17, 2018 in the 7800 block of Deer Creek Road in Selma, Oregon. Ericka is white, 5'6", 100 to 130 pounds, with hazel eyes and light brown hair with rainbow-colored highlights. She has a tattoo of a marijuana leaf on her right bicep and a tattoo of the sun in between her shoulder blades. Anyone with information is asked to call the Oregon State Police at 503-378-3720. Her family is also offering a reward for anyone that can lead them to Ericka's remains. But as always, thank you, I love you, and I'll talk to you next time. Voices for Justice is hosted and produced by me, Sarah Turney, and is a Voices for Justice Media original. This episode contains writing and research assistance by Haley Gray. If you love what we do here, please take a moment to rate and review the show in your podcast player. It helps us and helps more people find these cases in need of justice. Welcome to the Secret After Show. The dogs are in, we have our emotional support puppies. Let's talk about the case. I, of course, just want to give another shout out to Rachel for participating in this episode. Because there's so little out there, she was extremely helpful. And again, I want to point you right to the podcast A Light for Ericka if you want a deeper dive on this. Gwen is absolutely amazing, and again, how I found this case. Now, I feel like last week with Samantha Sperry, it was kind of similar. I feel like there's just, what is up with police not searching for people? I mean, even infrared technology, if the woods are that thick, I've seen those used before, like a drone over top. I know that we talked about limited airspace or restricted airspace. I just feel like there had to be something they can do other than, sorry, we can't search. I don't know. It just doesn't feel acceptable. If you guys have more insight to this that I am overlooking, as always, please let me know. I know that I can get pretty fired up about things like this, and I truly do try to see all sides, but if her family can search, why couldn't the police? I don't know. Also, the footage from the local market. This is so hard because this happens all the time with families where you go somewhere and they say, well, we need the police have to be involved. And then the police don't do it. They don't follow up. They forget whatever may have happened. It just feels like such a lost opportunity. Obviously, if that was Ericka, that could have changed everything. And, Now her family has to sit and wonder forever, which is, again, just one of those areas that I find completely unacceptable. I hate it. I just feel like every missing person deserves to be looked for. End of story. I do want to also say, I was being pretty careful about the rainbow family because I found people that love it and have found immense, wonderful community there, and I have found stories where people absolutely did not like it, and crimes were committed and terrible things happened. I will say that this is a group that, like I said, has like no organization, so it really appears that you can just become a member should you choose to. Like decide to and just kind of link up with people. So it was a hard one to follow. So that's really why I said just do your own research, make up your own mind. I am by no means an expert in this field. I am not someone who is well versed on cults or anything like that. So it felt irresponsible to really cast any type of judgment, especially since I've never interacted with these people. But I know that Rachel had more insight. Rachel lived through this, so that's why I kind of deferred to her. But as always, if you do have insight on that, let me know. I am always open to learning and growing. As far as what's going on with me, just a lot of work and trying to fall back in love with life. If you guys haven't seen that, I put it on social media occasionally. I am on this mission to just be in my Sarah era and fall back in love with life. I am still putting my house back together, which I don't know why I didn't think about it. I've never done home renovation, okay? I moved in when I was like 21 and I had no money and I've never been able to do anything in this house. So I've never gone through the process of getting new floors in my entire life. Not when I was a kid, not as an adult, never. So I don't know why I didn't realize that it's basically moving everything out of your house and back in. But that's the process I'm going through, which is exhausting and a pain, but also really kind of wonderful after living here for over a decade. It's great. I am purging so many things, donating so many things that I just don't need. A lot of those things I held on to so much. I grew up extremely poor. I have worked my ass off my whole life to have everything I have. God, it feels like such a brag. But it's leading to basically this scarcity mindset I've been in that, I never wanted to throw anything away. This duct tape from probably that my dad bought, 25 years ago that is stuck together. I might need that someday, even though I know that it's not functional. So it's a lot of crap like that. Of course, I did your traditional, separate into donate, keep, and trash. But I've gotten rid of so much and it feels so good. Like right now, I don't even have a couch and I don't care. I have a chair in my living room, just watching TV, living my best life. I don't enjoy material possessions, to be totally honest with you. Most of what I have is, either extremely old, like my bedroom furniture, my dad bought when I was 15. Thanks, Dad, for some things in my life. Like my entertainment center used to be my ex's parents that they also bought, like 25 years ago. I'm just that gal. If it's not broken, I don't want to replace it. I don't love consumerism, and I don't love creating waste. I am truly a softie hippie at heart, so I'm just living my best life right now. I will replace some items. Eventually I will get a couch. But it's great to purge items. I also found, some things hiding in deep, dark corners of my house that I no longer wanted to keep anymore. For a long time I kept, I don't know why this is going to make me cry. Gosh, what sordid feelings today. I kept this box, when my dad went to prison for the bombs, so when I still believed in him and loved him and talked to him, I was sent his clothing that he was wearing the day that he got arrested. And I kept that forever. I put it up in a closet. When I really missed him way back in the day, I would, smell his clothes and get really sad. And then I found it in the back of this closet and I was like, ew. I don't want this anymore. And I threw it right away. And it felt fantastic. So it's an exhausting process that is somewhat emotional, but also great. I feel like I'm kind of shedding off layers of trauma, really, if that makes sense. So not very exciting. That is what I've been up to. I've also been, for some reason, going back to Sex and the City. I one night was just like, wait a second, how did Carrie end up marrying Big? And now I'm on a journey to find out. I have started from the beginning, and I've been falling asleep every single night to Sex and the City. Not very exciting, but that is what I've been up to. I also want to say a bunch of you guys reached out to me because you were under the impression that I would be at CrimeCon this year. So I am so sorry that you were under that impression. I did used to go. I think I went for I went for a few years. And I stopped going a few years ago. So I'm really sorry if anybody went to go see me. I was not at CrimeCon for a variety of reasons. And I did want to say that I will be at another event. I'll be at the True Crime Podcast Festival in Denver starting July 12th. If you really want to see me in person, you can come to that event. It'll be cool. There's some great people attending that also attended CrimeCon. If you're interested, it is, a bit of a smaller event, but you can check it out at truecrimepodcastfestival.com. I am the keynote speaker, which is very exciting for me. I have spoken at many events, but never given a keynote. So I am currently working on that. I really want it to be fantastic. And maybe I'll just give you guys a little sneak peek. I am talking about basically the inherent harm of the true crime industry, but I promise I'm going to spin it positive. But this is a festival for people who consume true crime, for people who create true crime content. And I don't want to sugarcoat it. True crime is inherently harmful. And it's not as if it's because creators suck and they're trying to harm people. It's because even in the best of circumstances, when I see something out there about my sister, even if it's done to perfection, it hurts. And that's something that needs to be known, and I think something that should be respected. So I'm working on this keynote speech about basically, we're in this industry that is harmful. We help people, and it's also something that is just inherently painful. So that sounds like such a downer, but of course I will, as always, just like this show, I will end on a segment of hope. You know what I mean? And I guess that transitions us right into our segment of hope. Gosh, that was cheesy. But yeah, so I'll be at that event giving my keynote speech and honestly just keeping it real. I think it's important for people, creators in this industry, to hear from families and what this genuine experience is like. And then they can decide from there if they want to minimize harm or add to it. In a much less, hopefully, cheesy way, let's get to our segment of hope. Now, I get, this was not planned, I swear. I guess it kind of correlates with what I was talking about with the keynote speech. And just that, true crime can be so many things. And, I think people lose sight of the good in it sometimes too. And who the people were at the center of these stories. So this is a story that I think, gives me hope that these people that we talk about every week, the people you hear about every week, are more than just the cases around them. They're more than a sad memory or the subject of salacious reporting. And I do specifically use that term because this is involving Ethan Chapin. So Stacy Chapin, the mother of Ethan, who was killed in his off-campus apartment in 2022 in Idaho, she's written a book. And it's a children's book. She wants Ethan to be remembered for more than just the way he died. So she wrote this book called The Boy Who Wore Blue. And it's about Ethan's upbringing a lot he was a triplet, so with his siblings and all the adventures they get into. It is rated 3+ and is truly for children. I do want to say what I did not like is that I found this from an article from Oxygen talking about this book and talking about the case, and they did not link how to buy this book. It just gets to me. I don't like that. Stop doing that. If you're going to talk about people's work, especially like that, if you're going to create this article with a bunch of programmatic ads next to it and make all this money off of it, link the damn book so you can find it on. You guys, this is why I have to script the show so heavily, because otherwise it's all this. So I found the book on Amazon. Shock. I will have it linked in the episode description if you do want to buy it. Now, of course, like, this makes our segment of hope because she's found a way to really work through, I'm assuming, I don't want to speak for her, but kind of work through this trauma and honor his memory in a way that feels true to her. In a way that doesn't just make him a part of this, quote, Idaho murders. I don't know, I think it's beautiful and touching, and personally it gives me hope that these people, the stories we talk about, they can be just more than true crime. They can transcend that. And we can learn more about these people at the center of these stories, like who they were before these terrible things happened to them. I also do want to say that a portion of the proceeds from each book will benefit the Ethan's Smile Foundation. You can learn more about them at ethansmile.org, but they provide scholarships to students in need. I don't know. I was struggling, to be totally honest, to find a segment of hope, and I came across that, and I was like, I love this, let's talk about it. So I hope, I always do that. I hope that you have found, some hope in that, because it's hard, and I feel like sometimes if you haven't experienced it, it's hard to get, and it's hard to explain. It's like your loved one that you spent years with, in this case, Stacy raising him, these people that you love and and you go to the movies with and maybe go to school with and have sleepovers with and stay up all night and, talk trash with. And it's like, there's so much more than these stories. And I know that people are here for true crime and not here for children's books. But, I just think it's a cool thing. And I do think that getting to know these people does help to understand the cases more. If you are looking for some type of true crime angle, I would argue that. But otherwise, I don't know. It's just a nice thing, and I support it. So, again, thank you for, I'm not going to say tolerating me, but thank you for listening to this segment of hope. I just think it's cool. Please go buy the book, and if you are so inclined, check out the charity. It seems like a really nice initiative. But as always, thank you, I love you, and I'll talk to you next time.
Close your eyes. Listen to Monday.com. Feel the sensation of an AI work platform. So flexible and intuitive, it feels like it was built just for you. Now open your eyes, go to Monday.com, start for free, and finally breathe.